That's why I'm saying, I didn't see it. Maybe I was over there on a good day. Maybe I was over there on a good day. But if I could get some of you guys to go over there and tour the facility, have you toured the facility?
Yes, I have.
Have you talk to the residents?
Yes, I do.
Where is the person that's got asbestos poisoning?
Now, I do want to say this. I was in contact with a Noble Road resident, and they're stating that they can't barbecue in their backyards. That there is dust, and it's residual dust that's coming from that. I mean, it's not going to not have dust. But, so I've asked this individual to write a statement regarding his concerns and the problems that he's having. I had a community meeting regarding that, not just residents from Noble, but from other streets that are affected. It's not just the Noble Road residents that are affected by it. I know firsthand things that are going on. Now, mind you, this has been going on for 3 years. It's been going on for 3 years. Everyone that was on council at the time, it was okay with it. I'm trying to understand now what's different from 3 years ago to now. That's what I'm trying to understand. Now that I'm involved with it, these things that we're bringing to the light, it's almost as if residents feel helpless, as if they can't. Imagine not being able to go out in your backyard and barbecue. Or you don't want, relatives to come over and play, or that's infringing upon their way of life, and that has to be addressed. And that's where we're at this point, because we can't attack him regarding, and I'm not trying to attack the man. I think that's been the problem in the first place. That's why he hasn't been so forthcoming. But I think that all of these issues, air quality control, asbestos, everything that's been brought up, he has addressed legally. What hasn't been addressed is the nuisance that it has created. And, whether you wipe a little dust off, maybe it was a good day, but if you go at night, there's a stench, there is an influx of rodents, whether they're just there or whatever. I mean, construction debris, you're going to have all kinds of critters. And some things you can't control. So my angle is to try and make him a good neighbor, so to speak, in a sense, to clean that up or to make it a little bit more presentable. I mean, you ride down Euclid Avenue, it doesn't look that attractive. It looks very bad. So he's making attempts. He's trying. It takes time. It takes money. It takes funding.
You talked to him.
I talked to him.
He tell you about all the extra good ambassador stuff that he's done on the
Yeah,
street.
he's done a lot. He just cleaned all of Noble Road this past weekend. He has a sweeper. He does a pretty good job of upkeep. And he's willing to do that.
Any resident that comes to him and talks to him, he tries to accommodate.
You're right.
So did the person who couldn't barbecue, did they write up this report?
No, I've asked him. He's going to be bringing that to me. He was supposed to have it by today.
I would love
There's
to
multiple
see
residents that
can't barbecue
well,
on a Monday.
that feel as though that
1 o'clock in the afternoon.
they feel as though it encroaches upon, it's affecting their way of life. And I can understand that because
I absolutely agree with you. I'd like to see this report because
well, it's not a report. It would be just a personal statement of what I can or cannot do or feel like I can't do because of the situation that this business is creating. And maybe these letters we can bring to him, and he's very, he's aware of it, but he feels as though he's trying to run a business. He's not trying to leave. That's what he said. But we can only go by what he does. Like I said, there was a lot of naysayers saying that he wasn't going to be doing this, that he was going to pack up. So it's good to see that he's following through with a lot of the things initially he stated for you.
You wanted to kind of read an email to you?
Sure.
Actually, it was 2 emails. I contacted Kent Smith's office, and I got an email back on April the 4th, and then just recently on the 26th. This is regarding ARCO. First of all, I personally have spoken to mostly all of the residents on that road. I've been over to the facility multiple times. I've talked to a lot of people over there. Now, to sit here and say that it's not a big deal if somebody can't barbecue in their backyard, I would think it is a pretty big deal, especially if you've been over there. You made the assumption that it's...
Don't put words in my mouth.
I didn't put words in your
I did not
mouth.
say about a big deal. Don't assume my words. I'm sitting right here. If you want to ask me something, please ask me. Right?
Well,
It is a big deal. if somebody's uncomfortable and they cannot barbecue.
Okay, well,
Right?
that's fine.
Don't twist my words.
I'm not
please.
twisting your words. I said
Continue.
what you made it seem as if there was.
Don't tell me what I may seem. That's not what I said.
Calm
I'm
down.
telling you, I am
I said
concerned.
that there was an assumption made.
Don't assume for me. You know what happens when you assume. Don't assume from my words.
Well,
I'm
why
sitting
you
right here.
so
You can ask.
aggressive? I'm
Because
standing right here
because
too.
you came up here and you just basically told me what I said.
I didn't basically say it. If I'm a very blunt and direct person, if I said you said anything, I would say, Brandy King, this is what you said.
You didn't just say that. I
I
basically.
said-
Okay, I don't think, let's not
I'm
argue
gonna
about
get
that.
to the email
Go
because
ahead.
that's
Please
what's
do.
a little bit more important at
Please
this
do.
moment in time. Like I stated, when I spoke with the residents, I reached out personally on their behalf to Kent Smith's office, okay? They said that they contacted Representative Smith's office back in July 2015. And at this point, their office reached out to the Ohio EPA and the CDAQ, and they shared their concerns about, and also requested an update with the testing. They learned that due to the type of the permit issue, the construction and demolition debris, the Ohio EPA does not have direct authority over ARCO. I don't know if you, I don't know
It's
if
still
you
in
said
the
that.
phase, they're still working because it's a new permitted
Right.
thing. It's not like a regular C&D because they're trying to encourage this type of recycling. So they're
Right.
still in the phases of working out all of the kinks of how they want to operate that type of facility.
They
Okay.
said that they did make multiple inspections to the site, did not find any major violations. They're working with CDAQ to stay on top of those concerns. They also did occasional testing and they did come back negative for asbestos. Also, the CDAQ has requested the use of US EPA air monitors and to monitor for asbestos and other contaminants. So I don't know if you knew about that or not. I don't know if they have those
They
actual
do.
machines or anything
They have the
else like that.
on top of the lights.
Okay.
You tour the facility, you see all around that.
Right.
On top of those lights, those are air quality control monitors. So if they pick up anything over above the level that's supposedly allotted, then that sends a red flag and then he's violated. But he
Chair.
hasn't since.
Now they
Chair, may I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can you repeat that last sentence about asbestos again, please?
They said that the CDAQ had requested the use of monitors to monitor for asbestos and other contaminants.
And you said it came back zero.
They said that they had done occasional testing, and those tests came back negative for asbestos.
No asbestos, okay.
Occasional testing.
Now this is
I
the
don't know.
EPA that you're talking about?
This is CDAQ.
Okay, and those quality, now there are reports that we can pull and I can share them with you
Right,
that show that it's ongoing testing.
right.
Okay.
They also said something about they were gonna be coming out every 2 weeks, the health department was coming out
Every week, actually, the health
Right, or
department.
yeah, something like that. And they also said that the EPA does not have direct authority over them until 2 years before they actually start recycling. It's supposed to be moving 500 cubic square feet a day and debris and all that other stuff. The reason why I wanted to point out that we reached out to them is because, and not to sit here and say that, there's a lot of us that have, like I said, have spoken to people over there, and we're not saying that this facility is so deadly that, you know, people are gonna die or anything else like that, but these people actually live over there. And you have people that are, possibly have maybe some lead problems. You have people over there that cannot, barbecuing is one thing, but just being able to look outside the window, they see things that are going on that look a little bit nefarious. It looks like things are not good. When you look out your back window and you see a heap of trash and debris, then you have dust floating in the air, then you can't even turn your air conditioner on because there's contaminants coming through there. People are getting sick and they don't know why. There's children over there. My kids go to the school right up the street over there. My daughter is sick every other day. She's not a sickly child. None of my kids have been sickly children, but she's sick every other day. I don't know what that's from and what's going on. So I just wanted to say that yes, there are people on top of it. I'm pretty sure that you know that. But I don't want it to be like this big notion that people are out here thinking that, we're trying to go after him for some, bad reason. There is a real genuine concern with those people over there. They're not happy.
And I'm one of those people.
And I
Okay,
understand.
so, and I have children. You're absolutely right, but see, there's a fine line between trying to get business done and outright slander. And you're not gonna get, and that's what I don't want. I want to be able to work with him because he is there till 2018. We do have to deal with it. Let's get the best possible scenario that we can. You know, and if he's willing to address those issues and abate the nuisance and do it on his own terms without, but I don't want just to leave it at that. I wish that the administration would go ahead and do this test for nuisance.
I'm just gonna ask this one question, it can be rhetorical. If he was trying to do something that was good for the community, and that he was trying to work with the community, do you really honestly believe he would allow the dump to look exactly how it looks today? And 2-3 years ago, when he first did the contract, do you think that maybe he should have put something in that contract that said, hey, in 2 years I'm gonna start recycling? It's probably gonna look like a big old mess. There's gonna be this, that, and the third. You might have these problems. Anybody with some form of integrity would have been able to have some type of foresight into what it looks like now and wouldn't have allowed it to look that way.
And I agree with you. I think that council as well is in collusion with that whole thing. I'll ask you the same question. Did council have the foresight 3 years ago to make sure that the contract he submitted included that?
It's not council's job. It's her job.
What I'm saying is council signed off on it.
But it's the law director's job to make sure
Regardless of
that A, B, and C.
the rhetorical
and
question
D.
can go both ways. He's a businessman, so basically he's going to offer what he offers. If he goes through the different levels of our city government and they okay it, then to me,
Did it go through an audit through the law director's office, because I know she wasn't the law director at the time, was it audited to make sure that that contract stipulated every single A, B, D, C, F, G, and I say again, I'm a law student, so if I'm looking at a contract,
She
I'm
was the
gonna
law
look, if
director
there's a
then.
period missing, I'm gonna look and go, you know what, is there like a contingency we can put in the middle here?
maybe we can I can maybe ask one of the prior
I
councilors.
digress.
Well, that's a good question.
Sorry if
And
I yelled
also,
at you.
that's something that maybe we can ask the prior council members if that took place, because I don't know, and I'm not privy to that as far as if that took place. If they looked at that and made all those contingencies. I don't believe that because of what has taken place up to date that you can just make any assumptions either way. But a lot of the things that they said that he wouldn't do, he is now. So I'm trying to be positive about that and try and see where we go. But yeah, I would like to know the same thing, because when I read the contract, have you looked at it?
Not
Yeah.
just entirety, no.
Okay, so if you look at it, there's no contingency plan. I don't believe that even they understood, not everybody, but I don't believe they understood what CNDD was or what that may have looked like or researched that. So I can't tell you 3 years ago what anyone's, intent.
No, I know you can. I'm just saying, maybe that should be explored by the law department to actually, they should have audited.
Well, shoulda, coulda, woulda now, because it's here. It's in, you know what I mean? But it's a good question. I mean, those are the type of things that I want to bring up as well. But it's in the past now. Now we can think about having some type of contingency plan. The EPA for CNDD, maybe not that type that's permitted, doesn't have anything in place. So that's where we come in. Maybe we can put ordinances on the book, because we have this type of facility here and we haven't had one before, that sets the precedent that there's only a certain amount of tonnage that can come in until you get that pile down, or just different things.
I think they said 2 years. 2 years.
I'll look at the
or a year.
fine
That's what
print.
they said.
Ms. Stansberry?
I would like to say, I've been by, I really had been up to Nova lately. I mean, last week, I've been up Nova 2 or 3 times, and I parked my car. And I took a walk back there, all the way around. I did that twice, and my daughter went with me. She said, Mom, you keep talking about the dump. Take me up there. I've been up there 3 times within the last 2 or 3 weeks. Now, you were talking about what could happen. Those people live over there, they backyard is right behind that dump. And in the summertime, it get real hot. And they got kids there, and for me, nobody but me, I like to barbecue in my backyard. Now, when you get your pit and go out there and barbecue, you wouldn't want to take your barbecue pit and all your stuff in your backyard the barbecue and see all that stuff back there. You wouldn't want to do that because you don't know wind blowing or whatever. You don't want to eat, you don't want to do that. And what the council should be concentrating on, look, would you all want that behind your, right in your backyard? I'm talking about the five of you all. Would you all want that in your backyard?
I wouldn't.
Wouldn't nobody want that in their backyard, and so you all should be looking at the interest of the resident and try to get a solution to that problem. I don't care what they do over there. They can build a wall, put something around it. That, whatever over there don't need to be there amongst those residents. And so I would like to request the council start talking about it and try to get a solution to that problem. Because Lord knows, there's some mess over there. And I would have to, if I were living over there behind that, I would have to leave there. I couldn't live there. And I'm pretty sure you all wouldn't want to live there either.
I
So
appreciate
you
that.
should, have a solution.
I'm
To
gonna
try to do something.
I'm gonna reiterate, my solution to the issue, or trying to resolve the issue, if we cannot resolve it because of the contract and he is county, state, and federally in compliance, the only other option is to look at, that I can think of, is to look at the fact that the charter does specify that no business can create a nuisance. I will repeat this again. Because of that, I wrote to the community development, because it's either through the community development, or what the mayor, the other job the mayor has, I'm sorry, it's health and safety director. Through the safety director, community development, what's supposed to happen is there's a complaint that's initiated. Any business in the city, whenever there's a complaint that's initiated, what happens is you write a letter to the community development, you make them aware of it, then they go and they take pictures of this property, and then after they do that, then they make an assessment if it determines a nuisance or not, and then from there, they take steps and they create a summary of abatement. Now, since that facility has been in, I don't believe anyone on council since 2013 has done anything towards the administration to try and remedy any issue with ARCO. So that's the salute, that, to my knowledge, other than, I don't know of anyone else writing starting that process. So that's where I'm trying to go with it, because I can't see, we can't breach the contract that we put in place with ARCO and risk getting sued. The city doesn't have any money as it is to defend itself against such a lawsuit. So because he's compliant and there's nothing we can do on that aspect, what we have to do, just like you said, recognize the citizens and their problems that they're having and the nuisance it's creating, go to the administration that's outlined, there's a process, go to the administration and request that they look into an abatement of a nuisance. And I've been stonewalled.
Can I just ask a question? Can
Sure.
I, we've been dealing with this stuff, I guess, over about 2 years now, maybe close to 2 years.